Welcome to Lads Down the Lane. I'm Nigel from Pure Coys TV, joined as always by Mark from the Two Mark Show. And together we're talking all things Spurs, from the latest matches to transfer talk, fan opinions, and a bit of good old-fashioned Spurs banter. We've got it all covered, but we want you to get involved too. Have your say in the chat, or even come on the show and join the discussion live. It's all about fun, friendly debate, and that shared love for Tottenham Hotspur. So get comfy, smash a like, hit that subscribe if you're new, and let's get stuck in. This is Lads Down the Lane. Mark, Cookie, how you doing, mate?
All right, mate. How are you? Yes, I'm all right. I've had a quiet day today and looking forward to the show, mate, to be honest with you. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Good,
How are
yeah.
you, mate? You all right?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I just feel like I need to talk Spurs because there is so much going on, isn't there, at the moment regarding
seems to be.
Tottenham and Frank and whether people want him in, out, or the way we're playing. But we will get into it. Let's say a quick hello to the chat. Queen Ellie posted earlier, big up Nige. I'll be tuning in later when I see this, and I'll be here. Big up Ellie when you come. Marianne's in, big up Nige, Cookie, and all in the chat. And
Marianne.
it's in as well. Evening, Nige and Cookie. Good evening, guys. So, Cookie, mate, what's going on with Thomas Frank? Talk to me.
Seems to be some divided opinion out there, doesn't it? I've seen, I know what I think, but I've seen some stuff on some of the chats in other shows that I've watched, and the amount of people that are just not willing to give the bloke a bit of time. As far as I'm concerned, Nige, he's got what he's got at the moment, and we know the options are short up front. And it's like, I feel like saying to you, Nige, what can he do? What can he do? Yeah, he can try and make us a bit more attractive, I suppose, but he hasn't got the players that progress the ball. Let's hope Moan is a bit better than Richarlison. Xavi Simons hasn't hit the floor running yet, has he exactly? So, I think there's a lot more to come, but I think people have got to be a little bit patient, mate. And I know it's the old story, one way or another, whether it's, what we've got now, or we've got to wait till January to see if the board are going to come through on their promise of, want to be with the best, and again in the summer. So it's all a bit of a waiting game, and we just have to wait and see, and every week go from game to game, and hopefully, the results are all right, but hopefully the football on the pitch will improve a little bit.
Well, this is it. Two defeats in 13, which is not bad. We've started pretty well. Yes, the football's not been great, but is it just a culture now? Just like, because I can't remember it being like this in the 80s and the 90s when, managers, okay, if you lose 7, 8, 9 in a row, I get it. But 2 defeats in 13, I can't work it out.
No, it has changed, mate. It's a want now culture, isn't it? It's almost like people want an instant fix overnight, and unfortunately, it don't work like that. There's players at Spurs of a certain quality. Big up, Lisa. There's players at Spurs of a certain quality, and you could look at a few of them and go, look, these are international. Well, a lot of them, and say these are international players. This coach should at least be able to get this lot to play triangles, pass and move, whatever you want to call it. What we would call the basic stuff. Go back to basics. Perhaps some of these blokes ain't got it in them. I don't know, because it don't seem to me like half the time we can pass the ball 5 yards without giving it away. The other night, working so hard to get it back, and then we get it back and just give it away again. And it's to me, it's madness. But he's got to try and do something, mate. I don't know what, but he's got to try and, find a way of getting us on the ball and progressing the ball forward. However that may be, whatever he's got to do it. And at the moment, people go on about, Spurs are becoming set-piece FC. Mate, at the moment, as long as we can keep winning and drawing and not losing too many, I'll have to be patient like everyone else and wait for the better football and better players to come into the club before it really changes.
I got to be honest. I'm a little bit at peace with Tottenham at the moment. I'm okay with what we're doing. I know where we are. You know, this was never going to be a quick fix. You know, Frank was never going to walk through the door, flick his fingers, and we were going to be top of the league or challenging for titles. You know, Frank is renowned for starting slowly at every club he's been at. It's going to take him a while.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, like I say, I'm okay. Almost like I'm at peace with the way Spurs are. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not particularly enjoying the football, but are you enjoy? Can you see anything that you're thinking? Okay, yeah, that's good. You know, I'm happy with that.
Well,
Or is it like a lot of people are just like pulling their hair out and just like can't understand that this is going to take
I, I,
time?
I can understand why he's struggling to get more out of the forward players. You can say, well, Anne's got more out of them, but at the other end, we was wide open. So it's almost like it's gone into reverse a little bit. But the problem is what we've done now is we might have shored up a little bit at the back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But by doing that, it's almost like the creativity has gone. But at the same time, we've got players out injured, players that have not landed properly yet. You know, it seems to me that Kudos is the outlet at the moment, you know, and that's it. You know,
yeah,
Moani had a couple of nice touches when he came on, held the ball up well. Let's hope he gets 100% soon or 90%, and we can get him on the pitch a bit more if he can hold it up like he did the other night. So let's see. We've just got to wait and see, Nigel. Like I said to you, and I've said to you in WhatsApp, mate, game by game, mate. I think that's all we can do at the moment. We're not, you know, people are screaming for a manager to get out that's in the top six, whether you like the football or not. We're in the
yeah.
top six. We was moaning last season that we was in the bottom six, you know, on a regular basis. And we were screaming for better football. I think we're going to have to be patient for the better football. Like I say, wait till January, wait for some players to come back in, and then see if it changes a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Totally. Big up to just say hello to Lisa
Right, Lisa.
and Scott M. Big up Scott M.
Right, Scott.
And the Nightmare Kid, Nighttime Kid as well. Big up Nighttime Kid. I hope you're well.
Big up.
And Charlie's in. Big
Charlie.
up, son. If you want to come on, mate, just say yes, and I'll put the link in the chat. Nighttime Kid saying Benton Cortel is a knobhead. Okay, I mean, you know, what do you? Bentoncourt. Let's just talk about Bentoncourt quickly. What do you make of him? Because he is getting a lot of stick. Big up to Nita as well.
Big up,
He's
Nita.
getting a lot of stick, isn't he? Do you
Yeah,
understand it?
he's. Listen, I think you'll find that the way Thomas Frank's setting up is that he's predominantly, as we've been talking about, defensive wise, making sure that those back six, you know, the back four, Paulinia and Bentancur, and whoever it may be, it seems to be those two at the moment, are in possession, in position, yeah, as soon as possible. And he's encouraging everyone when we lose the ball to get behind the ball as soon as possible. So he's making us difficult to beat, which is fine. You wouldn't have thought that by the amount of chances Monaco had the other night, by the way. But
I know
he's making us harder to beat, or attempting to make it harder to beat. But like I said, it takes away from the creativity. But then again, Bentancur. Now, to me, Bentancur, and we said it, you know, those of us that have been in sport and had knee injuries and ankle injuries, and especially to the extent what he had, you very rarely come back the same, Nige. You know, when you've had a bad knee do, and he had the ankle as well from Matty Cash, he had to deal with that. Now, I don't think that he's come back the player that he was. And I'm not saying he was absolute stardust or anything like that. I just think he's lacking. Now, you see certain games that he played with Paulinia. I think the job he was given was anything that bounced, win it and give it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of
Agreed.
clips where the gap between whoever's playing the two defensive midfielders, and I think Bentancur's asked to try and fill that 8 role when we've got the ball. Do you know what I mean? And he's finding it difficult to make sure that he can do both. I really think he's struggling to do that. His first thing on his mind is, if we lose it, I've got to get back.
Yeah.
We're just not progressing the ball in a decent way. Bentancur, for me, he's lost his edge. He's not the player that he was. He's had a couple of decent performances next to Paulinho. I remember one of the games we was doing a watch along on, and he won everything that dropped from the air. But he is what we've got at the moment. We can say the same for the wingers. We can moan about the wingers, they're not what I want them to be. I want better than Bentancur, but they are what we've got at the moment. And we have to live with that, and it is what it is,
No, I agree. We've got a couple of questions that have come in. And I didn't see it. I don't know whether you saw it, mate. Andrew says, thoughts on Vic accusing his teammates of lacking attitude and character last night.
Well, I haven't seen that interview, I've got to say to you. I haven't seen it. I think I read a little bit maybe about it on the Spurs feed. I didn't take much notice of it, to be quite honest with you. But look, at the end of the day, I think everyone knows that performance the other night was so poor. So poor. We can't even say we defended well, because we didn't. 23 odd chances they had on our goal, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Nigel, we did the watch along. The amount of times that they ripped us apart just by what we were talking about, giving it and going again, and not being tracked by our players. And every time, the amount of people must have got sick of me saying, he's got 10 yards, he's got 10 yards. Do you know what I mean? And it's just little things like that. This is, football's not just about kicking the ball. It's about what goes on around what's going, between when players are passing the ball as well, movement off the ball, all that sort of stuff. That's all why I always encourage the kids when they're watching a game, just don't follow the football all the time. Have a look around the TV screen, or if you're watching at a game, see what else is going on.
Yeah, we were definitely played round too easy Wednesday night against Monaco. They were just popping it round our midfield, and like you said, I don't know whether we said it at the time, didn't we? Don't know whether the two midfielders were too deep or Bentancur was too high, but there was a massive gap in that area, which Monaco exploited a lot. But like Frank said, he said after the game, didn't he? He's like, I'd be concerned, because they said about the 23 shots. He said, I'd be concerned if it was 23 shots every game, like it was last season. But Villa only had 8. He said 8 chances. I don't even think they had 8 chances against us. But obviously, stats-wise, it says 8.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're conceding 23 chances every game. This was hopefully a one-off. But yeah, and then Nita comes in with a question. What do you think about Sarr being dropped?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I think he's tried Simmons and the Bergvall in the 10. Obviously, Simmons, we know, is a creator. To me, Bergvall's not a 10. He's an 8. Yeah. So I think he's caught in between. Do I use Sarr as the 10? And we're going to press like they have done in away games, PSG and so on, and the Man City game. Are we going to do it like that? Or do I try and need to have that little bit? Because even though Sarr scored a few goals, he's not the most creative player, Nigel, is he? He's a legs player, isn't he? He gets round the pitch at speed, for a lot of the game, And I know he has scored a few important goals, but I think maybe he's tried, Bergvall when Simmons hasn't been playing, just because there might be that odd time that he does this little flick and it puts us through, or whatever, or a defence splitting pass. But I don't think Bergvall is a 10 by any stretch of the imagination. But again, we was talking the other night, weren't we, Nigel? And people were coming up with formations, let's do a 3-4-2-1, and have Kudus and Simmons in behind Moani, rather than having Kudus out on the wing and Simmons out on the left. people come up. We're all trying to come up with different options of how we could do it, but you know, we're just fans at the end of the day, giving our opinion, mate, aren't we?
That's all we are, mate. And yeah, it's weird. Sar's a weird one because I actually thought he did really well at the start of the season. I quite liked him in the 10. Like I
Yeah,
say, he's not your creative midfielder. He's not going to create chances, but what he does is get in the box late. He arrives late and scores goals.
yeah,
And I like Sar. I can see him being that kind of player. You know, I don't think he's not going to be your midfielder who's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and dictate. But he is your midfielder who will get forward, will score goals. But maybe a bit akin to Lampard. Obviously, not as good as Lampard,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
player. So when it arrives in the box and scores goals,
Mm.
but I don't know. I don't. This is the problem. I actually don't think any of our midfielders, bar Polinia, who isn't even ours yet, are that good.
No,
Am I being harsh?
well, obviously you got Maddison to come back. You know, with what's available. I know. I think it's what you're saying, Nigel, at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just haven't. We haven't got that number 8 who gets around and who can progress the ball. You know, and who can find that defence splitting pass, who can get it 30 yards up the pitch. You know, we just haven't got that, and I don't think it matters where you look. We're struggling with that, and also because we haven't got that, and what we was talking about earlier with a gap being so large, between defence and attack, we're just struggling with that part of it. No number 8, and because there's no number 8, Simmons or whoever's playing in the 10 can't get involved. We can't get involved. They're waiting for the long ball to come up. You know, Richarlison can't trap a bag of cement, can he? Let's be honest about it. I mean,
he's regressed, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, he goes through these little patches of scoring goals, not very often, but he does do it, you know. But I think Sheriff hit the nail on the head. It's all right with Richarlison if he ain't got to think about it. You know, if he ain't got to think about it and it's just like a shot on goal, he hasn't got to trap it or anything like that. Different story with him. You know, he can put the ball in net. But when you're playing him as an old up striker, it's just not him, mate. He just bounces off of him. He might as well be a garage door. You know, it's...
Is he another one of these confidence players that we seem to attract a lot of confidence players at Spurs? You know, Johnson's a bit like that as well. I saw a video of him. There's one doing the rounds on Twitter at the moment because Everton have been linked with Richarlison again in summer, I think. And he looked brilliant. And I'm like, God, this is Richarlison, but for us, he is awful.
And I can't put my finger on it, Hi, Charlie. Can't put my finger on it, mate. I don't know why, but obviously for whatever reason he can't get any consistency at Tottenham. So whether that's just because he's shit, Nige, I know I put it bluntly, whether it's just because he's shit or he just ain't the type of player that Tottenham require, you know, for certain things. He's not an old up player, Nige. I don't know how many times we've got to see it. Whenever he plays as number 9 and he's got his back to goal, if he feels any pressure from the defender behind him, he leans into him and falls over. If he doesn't find it, the ball hits him and bounces off of him. 9 times out of 10.
True.
You know? So I don't know what he is, mate. I really don't know what he is. But you can say a lot of that for a lot of our players at the moment.
Yeah. Charlie, welcome to the show, mate. Let's stick you in straight at the deep end. Richarlison, I think you might have. Richarlison, what do you make of him?
Hello? My connection is very, very bad.
It is.
What's that?
Hello. Can you hear us?
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you guys. I just don't. I see myself and I just freeze.
All right.
Yeah, you're all good now. Richarlison,
because I was actually late to the party.
Yeah.
Oh, he's bobbins.
What do you make of him?
Absolute bobbins.
Yeah.
We don't have a good. Nice. What I don't get, I think this is a really good point, is that he plays for Brazil, and you're thinking, God, Brazil must be crap then to have him as their best number 9 because he does nothing. Even Andrew. It's so Cookie, you put it brilliantly. Whenever he's running in on goal, he'll just any contact he'll go down. And then whenever he's on the ball, he looks so laboured and clunky, like he's just. I don't even know what his best attribute is because he can't hold the ball up. He can't really finish. He's good at heading, maybe. You could maybe put it that. I don't think he's bad at heading the ball, but then he's never in the position to do it. He's just not a good centre forward. And it's sad that he's our only option really at the moment.
He is. Yeah, I don't know where we go with our strike force. Mawani has to start now, doesn't he? Every single week, if fit.
Yeah, if fit. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, he doesn't look. He hasn't had pre-season, has he? You can tell he hasn't. Still doesn't look 100%.
No.
Unless you start him in a string of games.
This is the thing, isn't it?
But
because the last thing you want is to start him, and he's not, even 90% fit. Do you know what I mean? So you can get him through to a 65 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And give him a good run.
Yeah.
Last thing you need is him pulling up injured. Do you know what I mean? So let's just get the geezer right first. And, perhaps he's close now. He's come on a couple of times now, and he had a good 20 minutes the other night, didn't he? 25 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he did more in 25 minutes than Richarlison done in the other 70 or whatever it was anyway. So
that's right.
Sonny Jay's got but he should.
No, he didn't. No, Tal did, didn't he? But Sonny J says, hi, or do you think, do you think it's finally time for Mawani to start now centre forward and try Richie left wing against his old team, Kudus right wing and Xavi 10? I'd rather see Richie left wing than Odegaard. Johnson over Tal and Odegaard. What do you think left wing wise? Because I actually thought Odegaard played all right on Wednesday night.
Yeah. He did. He wasn't too bad. He's definitely one of our better players. First half, anyway. Definitely first half. I do think though, when we play Everton this weekend, I do feel like Richie will score. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those games where I think he just will grab a goal. And I think he should start the game. I do like the left wing shout. He played there against Bodo, didn't he? And he actually did all right. He only played there for a half, though. He came off half time, I think. Yeah, I think he came off half time on 50 minutes. But he didn't play too badly then. But there are some games where he plays, like the first game of the season, home to Burnley. We were like, oh, we're sorted. Charleston's back. He's back. It's World Cup year. He's going to be banging them in.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No. Would you be tempted to start with Richarlison on the left, Cookie? Or
well, a lot depends on when Odegaard went off the other night. Is he injured now? Is he out?
Oh, he went off, didn't he?
Looked like he'd done an abdomen muscle or something like that, or fell funny when he come down from an header. He called for the bench straight away, so we'll find out, I suppose, if he's back. Listen, I don't think any of the options are very good on the left wing at the moment. And I know a lot of people have got the opinion of, well, Xavi's played out on the left for Leipzig. Yeah, let him go out there and do his thing because he drifts in. That's fine as long as we keep him involved in the game. Because I don't think Xavi's one of these players. He wants to be involved. You can see that by the tackling back. There's nothing of him and he's trying to tackle back. He hasn't got the physicality like Odegaard hasn't. He hasn't really got the physicality either. They both get bullied off the ball easily, when they're trying to win it back. But what I don't want is Simmons to go out on the left wing and then he's isolated out there and we're not getting the ball to him at all then. Do you know what I mean? That's what bothers me with that part of it. If Kudus is going to play, I'd rather see Xavi in the 10. So at least those two, and if Mawani plays up front, those three can connect a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But listen, who knows? It all depends if he's got any more injuries, who's available. I'm sure he'll swap it about a little bit from who played the other night. It'll be interesting to see if he plays with 2 in front of the back 4 again against Everton on Sunday.
I mean, what would you do? For me, you have to surely start with Bentancur and Paulinho again, right? I mean, let us know in the chat what you think, because Everton are, if nothing else, they're a really strong physical side. So we got to go toe to toe with them midfield wise, surely, or we are going to get bullied. What do you think, guys?
Well, yeah, as much as people get on Bentancur's back, and rightfully so, he didn't. I know he scored, but he didn't play. He didn't play particularly well against Villa. What else have we got apart from Sarr? And you guys were talking about at the start, and I couldn't obviously put my take on it. I don't know why Sarr's not playing either, because he started the season so well, and now all of a sudden he's been dropped the past. Well, it's like 4 or 5 games. Last 4 or 5 games he's been dropped. I think we should start Sarr, though, personally. I do think we should start Sarr instead of Bentancur.
My feeling is on Charlie, I think he's not starting Sarr because he knows he hasn't got the creativity in the 10. He knows Simmons hasn't clicked yet. Yeah. He's trying Bergvall in the 10. That's not really working, right? This, what we was talking about earlier, the massive gap that there is between the, the back 6 and the forward 4, right? But I think we're playing deeper. So when Sarr was playing, the team were pressing as a team. Yeah, we weren't afraid to come up to the up. We're not doing that now. We're sitting back and inviting teams to have the ball. You know what I mean? And then we're that deep sometimes. We're winning the ball and then just giving it away again.
Yeah, this is a good point.
I think we're playing a lot deeper than we do normally when Sarr's playing in that advanced role so he can press.
You think this is a good point from Darren? Big up, Darren. He says he's not disciplined and vacates the midfield. I think we're talking about Sarr still. He does from time to time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does run around a bit like a headless chicken. And that's partly what Cookie said. You're right. When he's in the team, we press a lot higher. We leave more gaps in that midfield. So if a team beats the press, it's like, oh, shit. It's just Paulinho against the world at this point.
Yeah.
And we leave them very exposed. And Bentancur in there, we concede a lot less chances, granted. But I think what's been the most frustrating thing is how blunt we are up top. I don't see, when we go forward, I'm like, unless Kudus is on the ball, I'm thinking, that's to come. I'm not confident in any of our attackers. And I think our press gives us an opportunity to go, right. And Everton at home, I don't think Everton are going to sit back. Everton are going to come at us.
Yeah.
They've got a really good home record. They've started the season quite well. They'll fancy their chances against us, especially after our recent performances. They probably would have watched the Monaco game and thought they're going to be knackered after that. Let's just go at them. Let's put them under the cosh. So, now me saying that realizes that Frank's going to think, oh, let's start Bentancur and sit deeper. So actually, it's just a vicious cycle, I think. I don't think he's going to start against Everton now. I've just said that because it makes more sense in my head to start Bentancur because we'll sit deeper. But then we invite more pressure. Then we're nothing up top.
Yeah, but do you not think we could start Bentancur? And I know you said earlier, a minute ago, Cook, about playing Xavi Simmons on the left and how you don't really want to see him out there. But you could still stick Sarr in as that 10 and have that solid base of midfield and have Sarr with the legs and then maybe play Xavi Simmons off the left. I don't really want to either, but we're just so lacking in those forward areas. It's trying to think of a way we can get our best players in and get the best out of them and not be so open. Because I do think with Xavi in the 10, certainly looked that way against Monaco. We were open to being played around a little bit because whereas Bentancur, Paulinho, good central midfielders, Paulinho especially, they're not really the legs, are they? So, they do get beaten quite easy.
Yeah. I'm worried. The one player I'm worried about for Everton, the big one, And I'm not necessarily too much worried about Grealish. I'm worried about what Njai is going to do to us if he gets time on the ball, because he is quality and he will run rings around that midfield at times. And this is why I'm, again, just going back on myself, that I think he will probably start Bentancur and Paulinho there, because he'll be very mindful that they'll be having Njai and Grealish in those pockets of space, and they're so good on the ball. We won't be able to get near them, and it's going to be really tricky to not concede chances against this team. I do agree that I think, on my personal opinion, is that we've started Xavi in the 10 for the past, what 4 games? 4 or 5 games? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the last 4 or 5 games. Did we start him in the 10 against Wolves? Or not? I can't remember if he started against Wolves.
Remember now. Possibly.
No, Sarr started that game. I don't think he was in the 10. Because Sarr started against Wolves. I remember that. Because he was crap.
Okay.
But he's been given a chance in that 10 and he hasn't really done much for it. And I'm not blaming it all on him, because obviously he's not got many people to aim for. I mean, he's got Richarlison up there, and Odegaard and Tell, who, I much more Odegaard and Tell are young players, I get that, but he's not got much to aim for. But we've tried him in that number 10 role and he hasn't really done much. So I agree. I think we put him out on the left and see what he does there. Because he's going to be up against Jake O'Brien, who's a big, tall right back. Probably going to have him with legs. I think he'd have more joy out wide against their fullbacks than in the centre of the park. Personally.
Yeah. What do you think, Kirk? What would you do?
You guys.
I just think it's so difficult, mate. Until I think a few of your problems are solved once Moran is fit. Because Richarlison comes straight out, then that's another option, whether you like it or not. Richarlison can then play out there. Are we trying to get what are we trying to get Sarr in for? What are you getting out of him more that you're not getting out of other players? I just wanted to ask that, and what's he going to do? Is he do you want him to play in that role that Bergval's been playing, for argument's sake, in that sort of not attacking midfield role, but the advanced midfielder of the three? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, personally for me, I see Sarr as, whereas I like Bergval, and we've said it before, he always tends to he gives the ball away a lot, he holds on to the ball too long. He's not, whereas he's got the vision, he's not quite. It's almost like he's got all the skills, but doesn't know how to use them yet.
Yeah.
And for me, Sarr is a player that gets forward, gets about the pitch, can score goals, isn't scared to shoot from outside the box, where I think so many of our players are. And for me, I think he's been, it's weird, for the first 2 or 3 games, I think he was our best midfielder. Certainly in pre-season he was.
Oh, he's
and now he's not getting a look in.
He's arguably our best player in the squad.
The problem is Xavi's come in and Xavi plays in the 10 or around there. So I think Frank's been trying to get Xavi in now, which of course the fans want. So that leaves Sarr out of the team, doesn't it? Unless Xavi goes onto the left, which is what we're talking about.
You've got to say that's unfair though on Sarr. It is so unfair on Sarr, because apart from his performance against Wolves, I don't remember a time where he really played poorly. And Xavi, he's not played badly really since he's come in, but he's not done much, is he? I know he's young and I know he's our big marquee sign. We all want him to do well, but if he was dropped this weekend, right, would any of you guys be really up in arms about it? Because personally, I wouldn't.
He has been in that side a bit, isn't he? Dropped for a few games and fought back and I'm not sure. Guys, before we go any further, please like and subscribe. Also, please get over to the 2 Mark Show and subscribe to their channel. Their link is pinned at the top of the chat. Really would appreciate it. Let's get them to 700 subs today. It's been a bit of a slog, isn't it, last month or so? So if we can get any subs for the 2 Marks today, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let's go through the chat, see if there's any. God, I'm well behind on the chat now. Question from Nita says, apart from Spence, who else runs with the ball? It's a good question. I'm not sure anyone does.
Kudos,
yeah.
Mickey Van der Ven there and again.
Udogie when he feels like it. Sometimes he did against Brighton.
Yeah,
last time I remember it really, but he can.
Yeah.
He can.
Yeah. But again, with the
Van der
injuries,
Ven,
we've got
when
at
he
the
feels
moment
like
10 players out. Van der Ven, yeah. Davis, then would we create more chances playing a 4-4-2? Have we got two strikers?
No.
I suppose Richarlison and
we don't have two good enough strikers for them to warrant a start. We don't.
No.
We're reluctant putting one in, let alone two. I don't think we could do that. I think personally.
No.
So that's the other problem. We go back to it again, don't we, Nigel? We've got so many players that, are vying for the left wing spot, but are they really wingers?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's strange. The Wiz then leads to West Ham now. Leeds and West Ham playing tonight.
Yeah, I've got it on. I've got it on behind me. It's half time now. God, West Ham have been.
Wow. Shocking.
The
not bad though. Leeds not bad at home.
Yeah,
not bad at home, but we beat them.
There you go.
Easy game though, apparently. We've only had easy fixtures. But I don't know. Let's bring up another question. So how do you think we hurt Everton at the weekend? How can we get to them with the attacking flair? I mean, kudos apart. Is it going to be like set pieces? Because Everton are pretty strong defensively as well, aren't they? Set piece wise.
I think we attack their fullbacks. Just attack them. They've got weak fullbacks, in my opinion. They've got a very strong very strong centre halves. Fullbacks wise, I mean, Mikalenko against Kudos. Kudos should have him every day of the week. And they've got really attacking wingers who probably won't track back as much. We've got to go for them on the wide areas. That's where they're going to suffer. That's where we're going to have the most joy, in my opinion. Especially with Kudos.
Depends if they do the usual and double up on him, Charlie, innit?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried they'll do, because they'll see Richarlison in the middle and go, yeah, whatever. After.
Yeah. That's
the issue. Because Villa did that, didn't they? And it worked really well. Fair play to them. Kind of marked him out the entire game. Frustrating, really, but
this is like you said. Also, this is the one game that Richarlison will turn up for.
Yes,
more than likely.
So
he does. Didn't he score twice there last season, Goodison Park? Or was it a season before?
We lost 3-2 last season against Goodison Park. We were god awful. It should have been more.
Season before then, was it, when we drew 2-2 and Richarlison got a brace? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we do, but it's going to be a tough game. Sonny saying, another question for the panel: would you prioritise Newcastle or over Everton? In a way, I would. If we're going for the cups again, would there be a parade if we won the Carabao Cup? Probably. I don't think it would be as big if we won the Carabao Cup.
Very good question.
Yeah, what do we do? We got so many games coming up. We got to prioritise the Premier League, haven't we? That's what Frank will be prioritising, the Premier League, don't you think?
I think. Go on, Charlie. Go on, mate.
No, sorry. I feel like I've been yapping for ages.
All right, go on, carry on, mate. You're all right. Go on.
Oh, I was going to say that I think we'll still start a strong team against Newcastle, but there'll be no second teamers in that. I want us to go for it. We're going to have to. Newcastle away, tricky game.
My answer to Sonny is the answer to this question every time. With the position that we're in at the moment, Sonny, for me, all you can do for me, and this is if it was me, I would be picking my strongest available 11 every time. They've got all the metrics. They know who's redlining and all that sort of nonsense, right? They've got a medical team to do that. So whoever the fittest available 11 players that are available to play, that's the team he's got to put out, the strongest team that's available every time at the moment, because we haven't got that buffer of where we've got them 5 or 6 subs where they come on and the performance don't drop, or someone to change the game. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. And we just, like I said earlier, we just got to put up with this until either he finds a way or the board upstairs find a way of bringing the players in that's required to sort out the problems we've got up front.
Agreed. Totally. Yeah, this is an interesting one from Andrew, because we were talking about this before we went live, Cookie, weren't we? The whole Spence thing. Well, Porro against Grealish. You think that Grealish is going to give Porro some problems?
Yeah, I do. And someone put in about they'd rather Spence played against. I think if you could put Spence on the right, might be a different story. Grealish might have a bit of a tougher time. The thing is with Grealish, he'd always get Everton up the pitch. When they're in their own half, he's going to get it up to the 18-yard box, opposing 18-yard box, and he's going to try and draw a foul. He's not necessarily going to knock it past you to sprint 10 yards to put the ball across. He's just going to try and do you with a bit of skill. So I think if it's Porro, Porro could be in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what Grealish is like, tidy feet, a bit like Kudos in a way. When he's got the ball at his feet, he can produce magic with it. He can get free kicks out of nothing. And that's what Everton will be looking for, but you can't play Spence there because the dog is injured, as far as I know still anyway.
Yeah,
so, Porro's going to have to play and Spence will have to play left back again, unless they go with a free. But I can't see it.
Isn't this a massive concern? Like a massive concern. It feels like, right, I know we've got a couple of defenders out already. Davis out, Dragusin still out, and Takai we've never seen since he come to the club.
Yeah.
But it feels like we've got two players out, Romero and Udogie, and suddenly we are literally down to the bare bones. Do you think maybe we should have kept Vuskovic? Or, he's doing really well in Hamburg, but should we have kept him?
In hindsight.
It's a bit of a risk loan compared to what happened last season, where we had I'm trying to work out how many injuries we had last season in our back line at one given time, because I swear we had, I think, 6 or 7 out at one given time. Something crazy.
Romero, Udogie definitely were out together.
Yeah.
3. And then there was Dave Davis was out as well for a bit. Was Porro out? No, Porro wasn't out for a while.
Almost never out.
No, Porro was never out. But that was the main 4, and it was a nightmare. I do think it was a little bit, because we didn't sign too many defenders, which, looking back on it, obviously was a bit silly. I think maybe it might be looking at it as the board might be looking at it and going, oh, Ange isn't there, so he's not going to run our defenders into the ground and have them pull our hamstrings every 2 seconds. Because a large part of players getting injured last season you could attribute to how Ange was playing. I won't open that can of worms, but I think we all think that was a big reason. But yeah, I do think it was silly. And Vuskovic looked good. What was the preseason game he played? Who did we play? Was it Reading? I know obviously preseason's not much to go on. I get that. Reading. It was Reading.
No, well in preseason.
It's like he looks good. Like, just keep him, because he get minutes.
Did you not see the thing on Twitter? Did you see it, Nigel? Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It's mental. Absolutely, you forget he's a defender.
That's mad, mate. I know it's only training. Do you know what I mean? And professional footballers should be able to do shit like that. But, it did look pretty tasty, didn't it? When I watched it, I thought, wow, Jesus. Yeah, nice.
He does look a talent, doesn't he? There's no doubt about that. But
I'll put it this way, Nigel. I think he'll be here sooner rather than later. I think he might have his season, unless we have another injury and we're struggling to get someone back. I don't know if he's got a recall in his loan thing, but I think this will be his last loan season anywhere. He will be at Spurs next season. I've got no doubt about that.
No, I agree. I can't wait to see him. And talking about Van der Ven, you're on about his hamstrings. Got to be honest, we were playing a bloody high line on Wednesday night against Monaco. That line was like, the amount of times Van der Ven had to run back, I'm like, bloody, every time I was watching, it's like, watching like that. But
Monaco
yeah.
was a little bit of I was gonna say Monaco was a little bit of it gave me a bit of deja vu. I think watching that game a bit, I was like, oh god, like this reminds me of a certain. We conceded so many chances, and I was just like, because you guys made a point that before I came on that we didn't concede too many chances against Villa. We didn't really. Villa were just clinical, which is the frustrating part. But like last season, we concede chances for fun. Like they'd have so many shots on goal, and that Monaco game was like I was back last season, and it was. But then we got to remember that Frank hasn't had too much time with these players. We're going to have performances like that, I imagine. You know.
And I got to say, how good did that Alakushi or whatever his name is look for Monaco?
Ridiculous.
Oh, never my word! And we were meant to be after him. Just you can just see sometimes players' technical ability, and it just stands out, doesn't it? A mile, you can see that they can play football at whatever level it may be. They've just got it. You can see it. You know, his movement, not just on the ball, but his movement generally was fantastic, and we couldn't cope with him. You know, we couldn't cope with him at all.
No, everything good they did come from Malakouche, didn't it? Definitely, big up Ghosted. Yeah, mate. Let's talk. I just want to quickly. We came off the Porro talk chat,
but I want to
no, it's all right. I just want to quickly talk about Porro because I want to get you guys' thoughts on him and the people's thoughts in the chat. What do you make of Porro? Because I got to be honest, I'm not. And I said it before, and I got absolute pelters for it. That I wouldn't be sad, terrible, really upset if Porro left in the summer.
No, don't say that.
I don't know. I think he's a really good player for Spain. I think he's technically really good. But I think he's a rubbish fullback. And I know he's not a fullback. But it's no good having a wing back if we don't play wing backs. You know? Agreed. So, I don't know. What do you guys make of him?
Go on, Charlie. Oh, you want me to go first? I'll go first. You're all right. Yeah. Listen, I'm in agreement with you, Nigel. He's playing in what is not his position because he's not a fullback. You know, it's quite clear that you can. But the trouble is because, like we've been talking about, the lack of creativity going forward and everything else. You know.
Yeah.
Look, I think we've seen over time. You know, Ange tried to play with Porro in all different positions except for where he was meant to be. Yeah. So it made him look even worse. But the problem is with Porro, for me, is that a lot of the time he don't get close enough. You know, he just doesn't get close enough. He wants to give that forward that space to do that trickery. You know, and for me, fullbacks get, not too tight, but don't give them the chance to do what they're doing. He just gets run over a lot, mate, for me. And it doesn't help us. It just really doesn't help us. There's not an happy medium. He's either doing one thing or he's trying to do the other. You know what I mean? He's just not a good defender, is he? To be honest. Like you say, technical. No. He can play football. He can cross a ball sometimes, but he's out of position a lot.
Go on, Charlie.
Yeah, quickly. I was about to say that I'm glad you put on the point that creativity-wise we've been lacking. So I can't imagine Porro leaving in the summer because I think it's actually a big hole. Because I think a lot of our chances come from him, come from his balls into the box, come from his runs forward. He's very intelligent, thinking attackingly, but defensively he's so poor. He's always in the wrong position, man to man, one-on-one defending. He hasn't got a clue. At the best of times. But in games where we need something, he delivers quite frequently. It's even in the past when we had, Kane and Son in the team, he'd be popping up goals and assists, and just creating chances. So if he got sold in the summer, I would be a bit. I would be like, if we're not going to replace him with if I'm imagining Spence and Udogie as our fullbacks, defensively we are technically better that way, but the offensive side that Porro does carry is, I think, really important in our team. So that's why I think he starts most games. And even though he's very poor defensively, I think he offers us a lot going forward. So I don't want to sell him personally, but he does get on my tits. He gets on everyone's tits.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want to. I'm not saying I want to sell him. I'm just saying I wouldn't. He's a player that if someone come in and offered 50 million for him and he left, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, Porro's gone.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think offensively he's fantastic. You know, he's very good going forward. But first and foremost, he's a defender. We play with a 4 at the back. You know, if we're playing with wing backs, then fantastic. He's your first choice every time. So it's going to be interesting to see how Frank manages it. Maybe he might. Maybe next season we play with a 3 at the back. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Psycho Teacher, big up, mate. He says Kudus is already suffering at Spurs. Do you guys agree? You know, he's starting to look. I think he's starting to look a bit tired.
Well, he's knackered.
If I'm honest, a little fed up at times.
Yeah,
he's knackered.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone knows he's our only threat up front. So they all just, Cookie said it before, they just double up on him. And he's just like, oh, what's the point? And he's looking across to his attackers and they're thinking, look, there's 2 of them on me. Why don't you go and do something? But they don't. Bless him. You've got to feel for him because he runs his ass off all game as well. Defensively, he's a workhorse as well. He's getting back and forth. You've got to remember, he's on Porro's side as well. So he's got to work back, help him out every time. Yeah. And then he's our only attacking threat. Nightmare. I do feel for him. He is suffering. But you haven't got a choice at the moment. He's going to have to just dig in and deal with it until, you know.
Yeah. What else can you do?
Yeah.
What else can you do? You know, he'll give. I'm sure he'll give him a rest at some stage. He'll give him a game off. You know, when he thinks he can get away with it. But you know, over the next few games coming up, when do you think you can get away with it? This is the thing, isn't it?
You know? I'll be looking at that Copenhagen game. I reckon you maybe could get away with it then, but
I think he drops him. Well, I think he leaves him out for Newcastle.
Yeah.
No, can't leave him out for Newcastle. We will not get anything from that game. Otherwise,
I think Johnson plays against Newcastle, and because you're not going to rest him for Chelsea, are you? You know, so and I can't see him be arrested for Champions League, but
even at home to Copenhagen.
Yes, we need a win. 2 draws, we need a win.
No, I know we need a win. I'm just saying looking at all our games coming up, that is the game I'd look at and go, you could rest Kudus there. Because then we got United the following in the next 4 days. And we'll want him for that, obviously.
But this is the problem with Frank Scott, isn't it? He's got to rotate the squad, and there's a fan base. Everyone's on his back already. Half the fan, well, not half of them. Some of the fan base already saying they want Frank out.
Are they actually?
Can he afford to leave players like Kudus out because we need to win games?
Can I ask? Just sorry to butt in again. Are people actually Frank out? And they're actually being serious?
I don't know.
People genuinely
saying it though.
People are talking about it.
We'd be better off sacking Frank. And
lunacy, absolute lunacy.
Listen,
what I would say to anyone, that's Frank out, is the question that I asked Guy the other night on a stream is, in the current situation, what would you do? I don't think he's got any options. I really don't. It is what it is at the moment. And if you haven't got the quality up front available, or whether it's available or not, they've got 10 weeks to soldier through until January.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. It's so difficult because we're all sitting here trying to come up with, you can change the formation, or you can do this, or you can do that. Maybe that might be the thing that Frank changes it week in, week out, but I just don't think he's that far down the road with the players to do that. And now, until the next international break, we're again playing midweek. Where's the training coming in? Because they're not going to be doing a lot of it.
No, and this is absolutely bang on with that, Cookie. The training, he's not getting on the training pitch with the players. It's literally game after game after game. So I don't think you're going to see Frank's working his magic, getting his tactics across at the moment, not with these games coming thick and fast. And Jimmy says, who marks Grealish on Sunday? Surely not Porro. We spoke about this 15 minutes ago. Porro's literally the only player he can play there, isn't it?
So the only right back. Who else can play there?
Yeah.
Unless we play Van der Ven left back, Danzo and Archie Gray from centre halves, and then Spence right back. It's not going to happen, though, is it? And we can't.
No, it's not going to change two or three positions to fit one.
Yeah.
No. But also we got to remember, right, before the international break when we beat Leeds, and everyone was happy because we've got to win. Got to remember when we lost to Villa at the weekend, it was a really tight game, could have gone either way. And people seem to forget that literally 35, 40 minutes before kickoff, our captain pulled out of the game, which I know that, people say, well, Danzo played well, and he did play well. But when your captain pulls out of a game literally an hour before kickoff, it's going to affect you slightly. And when's Romero back? Apparently back for the Chelsea game, but we don't know for certain. I don't know what we do, guys.
That's another option Jimmy's put at the bottom, maybe. If you wanted to give Porro a rest, you could play Spence at right back and Gray at left back. The problem you're going to have is then you talk about the creativity, right? I don't think Spence offers going forward, even though he'd be on the right side. So maybe he could get a bit forward. He'd be on the right foot because he can't use his left foot as such down the left-hand side. He has to stop and cut back, even if he's made a run. So maybe that could be an option. You could play, like he says, Spence at right back and Gray at left back, maybe. I don't know whether that's going to really weaken the left-hand side because you're going to have Gray on the left, then you're going to have whoever's in the midfield floating about, and then it could be Johnson, who don't work back. So Gray could get left a dirty one there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's all for the boss to work out, mate. I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I think it's so difficult for him. I think he's done if he does, and he's done if he don't. Do you know what I mean? He's just got to hope it works out, and we don't get smashed up. And because I don't want to see us going back to this. What happened the other night against Monaco, conceding all them chances. I'd rather it was, boring as anything, and we conceded one chance or two chances. If he's saying he's shoring the back line up, we don't want to be conceding 20 shots a game again. So that's got to stop. That has got to stop again. And he did say that, like you said in his presser, didn't he, Nigel? He did say that. It's not like it's
he did.
So
it's just a concern. I'm really concerned that it's going to get worse before it gets better. Like you say, the game's coming thick and fast. 2 games a week. Every game coming up now is tough. They're tough games. Are not. We've not got a game where it's like, oh, all right, then that's quite easy. We should win that. Every game literally is either Champions League, League Cup, massive game, or Premier League games against good sides. So, but Nita's got a good point. He said Isak ain't on point for Liverpool. Just know Xavi also needs time. And he does. Let's talk about Xavi. What are we making of him? He's hardly set the world alight, has he? But he's doing okay. What's his best position? We don't know.
He's doing all right. He's, I don't know what his best position is. I don't think anyone knows his best position yet, like in terms of where he influences the most. But what I will say, and people have said it in the chat, that it's not easy for our attacking midfielders to create chances when they haven't got to aim at in terms of forwards. They haven't got, if we had Kane or Son in our team back in the day,
Xavi,
they just feed the ball to them. If Kane or Son was in our team, either of them, Xavi would probably have 7 assists by now, probably, because he just float the ball off to them and then they do the rest. I don't think you should look at stats too much for Xavi because I mean he works really hard. He's You know, he's getting in good positions now. I think the one thing that really annoyed about Villa when he played against Villa was he had a chance in the first half, and it was so frustrating. Where he cut in, and then he cut in again, and I was like, shoot, it's opened up completely for him, and then he just stopped and then tried to pass it back, and I just don't think he has any confidence in front of goal. And I was thinking, it was similar to, remember he scored that goal against us, against England in the Euros, where he cut in on his left and just bent it top corner. It was the exact same as that. I don't know if you guys remember it. And he just cut in. I was like, just bend it. We know you can do it. You bloody did against us. And he just offloads it back. And you're just thinking, it was so frustrating to watch because I just don't think he has any confidence yet to grab a game by the scruff of the neck and go, you know what? I'm owning this. This is my game. Doesn't have the confidence yet, but it will come. It will come. He'll have a game where he'll get a goal, he'll get a good assist, and it will start flowing then. We just got to wait for it. We've got to be patient. You're right. Got to be patient.
What else can you do?
Yeah.
What else can you do?
He's 22 as well. He's 22. First time playing in England. It's not easy. You know, he's playing in the German league before and playing in the Dutch league before. German league is obviously a good league, but the English league is better quality teams week in, week out. And he's playing Champions League. I know he's played Champions League before, but you know, yeah, just give him time. He'll come good. He will be world class. He's not world class right now, but he will be world class. He's got the talent. It's not just going to fizz away. It'll come good. People need to be patient. They need to be patient with Frank. And if results aren't happy, so I don't mean to go back to the argument with people being Frank out, but I found it insane when you said that loads of people in the fan base were saying they want him out. It was like last season. Obviously, I'm not going to finish 17th, whatever. But last season we finished 17th, but we got in the Champions League. So this season, Frank is 6th in the league. He's in the Champions League as well. We've not started poorly in the Champions League, but we've started okay. He's got to juggle injuries. He's got to juggle new players coming into the squad. He's got to completely change the way we play. What do people expect? Do people expect us to just win our first 8 games and be top of the Champions League?
You've missed the most important point there, which was that he's got to juggle a load of shit, up front. That he's probably looking and thinking, my God, what is going on here? What am I meant to do with you 5? You know?
I bet he's fuming that Son. You know, he's fuming that Son got sold. Absolutely fuming. I'm looking back on that, selling Son now, thinking, oh, we could have done him for another year. Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk of him coming back in January, isn't there? Sonny, is that just rumours? On loan? If that happens, I'm done. We can't take Sonny back now.
Can't see that happening.
It wouldn't happen.
No.
And he's welcome to his retirement in the US. He's deserved it.
Yeah.
I feel for Xavi. I really do, because he hasn't like been brilliant. There's been moments when he's looked really good and other moments when he's not looked so good. But there was a moment in that Villa game when Tao was attacking, and it's all over Twitter as well. When Tao's attacking, he's taking on his fullback or taking on his defender inside the box, and Xavi's like calling for it, and all he has to do is just lay it back to Xavi, and he tries to flick it back to him, and the defender just like takes it off him, and you can see by Xavi's body language, he's like, bloody hell, is this what I've got up front with me? Is this it? I've left, Leipzig for this. And I feel for him. I really do. But he will get better. I think this is a good point from Jimmy, actually. I never thought about this. He goes, if we played 3-4-2-1, it will solve a lot of issues. So Kudus and Simmons behind Mawani. That's brilliant already. I like the look of that. And wing backs playing proper positions. Now, obviously, we've not got. Problem is, we haven't really got the players to do that at the moment, have we? I know Jimmy follows it up by saying so Van der Ven, Danzo, and Spence is a back 3. I'm not against that. I think Spence would make a really good centre back actually in a 3 because he's very like a good one-on-one defender. But then who would you have as wing backs? Porro, and it'd have to be Gray, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because no dogged, and then that gives you the same problem again. Gray's predominantly right-footed, so he's not going down the outside on the left-hand side. The dog is the only one that can do that, on that side. Porro can do it on the right if he's advanced. You know, and this is another problem. We talk about left wingers and strikers. You know, we need another left back. You know, because that frees Porro up then, that frees Spence up then, that when Porro does need a rest, he can play in that right-hand side position. You might not get as much going forward, but at least you know you've got a proper fullback coming in his place on where for me he should be playing. You know, when he does play, but he does well at left back as well. It just annoys me when I see him getting forward, and we know he can't kick with his left foot. Do you know what I mean? As such, and you just know at some stage he's getting down there so far, and he's turning to come back.
Yeah, I do like that that setup there. Once a doggie's fit, I wouldn't be against seeing that at all.
It's a nice little setup.
I think that's decent.
Who put that in the chat?
Jimmy Hotspur. And the thing is, I don't think you'd do that at the moment, Jim, as well, because Romero's out. Yeah, you've got Dragusin not fit. I think if all the central defenders were fit, forget Takai, but the main central defenders, I think if they was all fit and raring to go, you might well see that, because then if one pulls out injured, you've still got a full centre back there. You know, rather than use it. You can use Spence, don't get me wrong, to do that. I'm sure he'd be quite capable of doing it, playing him on the right-hand side of a free. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is. I just don't think he'll do it at the moment with Romero and Dragusin both out, and Takai's injured as well. Not that I think he'd be involved. And Vuskovic is out on loan. You know, you have all them back, you know, then you can talk about start playing free at the back then, and you know that whoever's coming off the bench will do a very adequate job, you know?
It's just trying to think of a way in which we can improve our attacking threat, I guess, isn't it? Because defensively, and this is what Frank said from the start, and a lot of fans have ignored that I'm going to come in, I want to make us hard to beat, you know, hopefully not going to concede as many goals. You know, phase one was defence. That's been sorted pretty much. You know, we're not going to go through every game and not concede goals and chances. There's going to be games we're still going to get ripped open, because it is what it is. You know, phase two is getting the midfield. That's kind of like half sorted. Phase three is the attack, and we're nowhere near. But I guess if we make the attack better, which we could do with that formation, it then weakens our defence again. So, and I can't see Frank doing that, sadly. But I do like it when everyone's fit. That's possible. That's a good formation.
Be even better if Vlahovic was up front night, if we signed him in January on loan for 6 months.
Yeah, so this is my question. Yeah, this is my next. That's a good question, mate. So you got one player, and one player only comes in January. This is for the chat as well. What position? Where do we prioritise? And if you can give me a name, who?
Does that have to be realistic?
I'll be realistic, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll say it in the summer if we manage to get Kane back. I'd be amazed. I'll be so happy. But probably not going to happen.
January, yeah. Where do you prioritise? What position? And if you can give me a name as well, then great. But if not, it's...
Cookie, I assume you're thinking of a centre forward. Because
Vlahovic for me. Vlahovic. I mean, I want to see how Moani works out, because, you know, he came on the first time and I thought, oh, God, he is miles off of it. And then whether it was because Richie was so bad the other night or not, I don't know. But, you know, he didn't have many touches, Moani, but there was twice or 3 times, I think, that the ball came up to him for him to either hold it up or bring someone else into play. The first time he nearly lost it, but he fought back to get it back and carried on the attack. So I liked that. The second time that it came up from a long ball from Vic, he held it up really well. You know? So I do want to see a bit more of Moani, because I think that, you know, when PSG are buying you for 95 million, you know, it can't be shit.
You're not bad, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Surely you can't be. You know, not even for Spurs. You know, so I just want to see a bit more of him. Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
So we've got
This
a
is what I mean.
£95 million player.
Yeah, well, euros, whatever. But you're not talking about your regular £60 million Richie here. You're talking about, you know, a nigh on £100 player. You know, so he's not. Yeah, I don't think whether his heart's in it at Tottenham or not. That's a different matter. I mean, I don't know enough about the fella, his temperament, and you know all that sort of stuff. You know, Ronnie's put Ivan Toney in the chat as well. That's another possibility. Yeah. It's all about wages at the end of the day. These fellas are on big wages. You know, Vlahovic is on 300 odd grand a week. I know Tony's on more than that over in Saudi. Are Spurs going to break their wage structure to that extent? Or are there players that are earning that money that if you offer them that bit less, like 250 for argument's sake, will they drop that much? Because to us, it's a lot of money. You know, you're talking about £250,000 a week to pay someone.
Yeah.
You know, but they're on another 100, 150 grand more than that where they are now. So, you know, will we raise it enough to go and get those types of players? Because I assume that's the type of player that when we say we need to go up a level, they're the type of players that we're talking about. Not the very best, but somewhere under that, somewhere that players have proved that, you know, they've done it elsewhere in the top level in the Champions League or for their clubs or whatever. Is that the sort of player you're talking about, Vlahovic?
One player I've always wanted to sign, even when he was at City, was Julian Alvarez. I love him. I think he's absolutely quality. I think he's world class. I think he'd be such a good signing because he's only like 26 as well. He's not old, and he plays week in week out Champions League football, scores goals, can play. Again, he's a classic Tottenham sign. He can play on the wing. He can play down the middle, but he does usually play down the middle. I'd love to get him. I don't think we will. It doesn't seem like a Tottenham kind of signing. But then again, I was surprised we signed Simmons. So you never know. I think he's a player you should go for. I think he's quality.
What about this guy, Charlie?
Thiago.
Didn't you say he was a bit of a beast?
He's a big lump, but he's a lump which gets goals for a side which, you know, hasn't got much creative aspect. I think Thiago's getting so many goals because Brentford just lob the ball in the box with their long throws, and he's just always there. And he scored twice against United, two of the worst goals I've ever seen in my life. But
the first one was a good finish. Second one was a bit lucky, but
the thing is, the first one, it's a good finish, but like the way he took it down, I think he's not a bad player, but I wouldn't sign him. He's not a level up, in my opinion. I think he looks really clunky on the ball, but he does score goals. He's scored more goals than all of our attackers combined, probably.
Yeah, well,
I think it probably is. So,
Munich have come out and said, haven't they? They are allegedly, going to spend the money. You know, they put 100 million in. They're going to put more in, and they're going to spend money not only on players but on the wages. So,
the wage,
let's see.
I think, unfortunately for Tottenham fans, you know, in the last few years, number one, the scouting's gone out the window. The standard of player that's at Tottenham now, overall, I'm not saying we haven't got 2 or 3 players that are very good, because we have.
Yeah.
But the standard overall, has dropped dramatically. You know, for the money that you're paying and for the player that you're getting. You know, I mean, I remember back in the day, the first £1 million player, Trevor Francis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's when you got a player, he repaid them back by winning the European Cup final for them. You know what I mean? So, you know, money's massive in football today, and I'm sure there's players out there that go wherever for the money, you know, because they're on a short career or whatever else, whatever the reasons. I'm sure there's players that go to their boyhood clubs that they've dreamed of playing for, you know, and I'm sure there's players that, you know, just want to play football. It's like your dad says, mate, it's up to Enoch now. They've said it 2 or 3 times, and I think it's sunk in to everyone very quickly. We need players, we need quality players, and we need them desperately in January. That's just where we are.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
No, I agree. And we talk about, and Bob Alec mentions Alakusha again.
Yeah.
I'd love him at Spurs, but if he come in, where does is that? I mean, it's a stupid thing. I was just going to say, where does he play? Because we've just bought Xavi for that number 10 role, haven't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah.
So don't know. It's a good problem to have, I guess. But you know, they
Was
could.
like when
I'm sure they could interchange.
when Madison and Kulu come back in, you know, if Xavi hits the ground running, let's say in a couple of months, and he's just a fucking wizard, he's just doing things left, right, and centre, and we're finally thinking, okay, this is what we spent 60 odd million for him. Madison comes back fully fit, and Madison is arguably our best player when fit. Where does he go? And where does Kulu go? Because Kulu last season was vital for us at so many times of the season. Where do they play? It's good problems to have.
It's all part of having a squad, though, Charlie, isn't it? This is what we talk about when we say about the gap, the drop off. Soon as one of your starting 11 goes off, 9 times out of 10, the replacement coming on is not of the level. So if you want to win things, 11 players, don't win the league. We need a squad. So, and they've got to start building that squad from January. If they want this manager, they went all out for him. I can't see them, just getting rid of him just like that. They've brought all his backroom staff in, paid an absolute fortune to get them all in there. And I'm sure if they wanted to sack him, it'd cost them an absolute fortune as well. So, I'm sure he's here unless it goes dramatically wrong. I think he'll be here for the long term. I think he'll do all right. I think he just needs backing. Back the geezer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally and utterly agree. Recruitment's been a problem for so long at Spurs, but I just hope in January we start actually bringing the players in we need. Nita has got a question. Do you really think it's about the money if a player has skill and you managed to bag that player? I think it's about the money.
Just the circumstances, Nita, at the end of the day. So some players are good at football and they play football for the money. They've ended up being Premier League players. They're on a couple of $100,000 a week, Nita. If you was on a couple of $100,000 a week, let's say you played for, I don't know, Bournemouth, right? And you was not Bournemouth, sorry. Let's say you played for Arsenal and you was on a couple of $100,000 a week and a team came in for you and said, we really want you. We'll match what your team want for you, but the most we can pay you is $150,000 a week. He's not going to go unless he's in it for the football. If he's in it for the trophies and he thinks where he's going to go, he's got a better chance of winning those trophies, then maybe.
Do you think we have a better chance? Do you think we have a better chance at winning trophies than Arsenal?
There you go. Do you know what I mean? But some it just depends on us. Some are in it for the money. They're good at football, and they'll go and play where the money is. You know that from Saudi. You know that. We know there's young players. I know there's young players, 23, 24, 25, even from other leagues that have gone to Saudi because that's where the money is.
John Duran.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's just
what
one.
a waste.
What a waste.
He's in Turkey now, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think he did go to Turkey. Yeah. What a waste. He was doing so well at Villa and just thought, fuck that. Get back.
He literally broke through. It was his breakthrough season, wasn't it? He got in, he started scoring goals, we're keeping Watkins out, and then he goes, weird. Yeah. But so when you're offered that much money, I'd probably go, to be fair.
Yeah. There you go.
Especially as he's at the age where he can come back.
I don't think you would. I think I don't get the pull. If you're already a footballer and you're making Duran was probably getting paid what, $90,000 a week. Let's just throw it out. Probably $90,000. I don't know. It was probably under 100, but it was pretty bloody high, right? And you're going from that to a ridiculous wage. But surely, argument's sake, isn't $90,000 a week already a ridiculous wage for someone his age, especially? How much more money do you actually need? If you were on like $4,000 and then you went up to 300, I would get it if you just did it for the money. But these players who were going are already getting paid ridiculous amounts of money, even at pro. Like we're talking about our wage structure, which doesn't pay players that much. I mean, what, Porro's on 150 grand a week? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a ridiculous amount of money. You can't even fathom how much it is. I know they'll get taxed like half of it, but good. You don't need that much a week. Do you know what I mean? I've never got the Saudi thing because you're never going to enjoy your football that much out there. Maybe players just like living in Saudi. I don't really get that.
I can imagine it's a nice place to live. Yeah,
it's probably a nice place to live if you're a rich person. Yeah, probably. Yeah, and there's probably no tax. Actually, I don't think there is any tax. Is there? Is there any tax in Saudi?
Maybe I should move over there.
Yeah, it's low tax out there, isn't it? If there's any.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bagging most of it, I think, over there.
Mental.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. But still, I never got it. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No, nor me. But players are going over there, and let's try and come up with see if I got another question down here that we could talk about before we end the night. Vicario. Let's talk about Vicario because he has been bloody shit this season until Wednesday night.
The Monaco game.
Bloody brilliant. What do we do with Vicario? Is he the one now? Is that it? Do we keep him all season? Keep him for the future? Or is he still dodgy?
It weren't even the saves for me. Monaco put a crossover. I thought, we're in trouble here. It was coming right between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. And I thought, here comes Flappy. And he come out and caught it like this, right here. Like this. It must have just come over the geezer's head and he's just grabbed. I thought, I can't believe it. He's actually caught it. It was unreal. And then some of the saves he made, I said to you, Nigel, I didn't realise a couple of them were really as good as they were. Outstanding, mate. Absolutely outstanding. We'd have got beat 5 if it weren't for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Made 5 really good saves. Really good saves.
Yeah, he was Superman.
I agree.
Absolute super. I think he must have maybe tuned in for a challenge and thought, you know what? I'm getting all this stick. I'm going to just morph into a wall for the Monaco game. He was relentless. And you made a good point about the catching, because sometimes, like I say, I do expect him to make good reflex saves because he always has. But he was collecting. I was like, what's going on? What has he taken? What was he eating before the game? He was ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad for him. I don't think it will carry on. I still think he's flappy, and we probably should replace him at some point. But you've got to give him the flowers. That was one of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen in a long time.
Very nice.
Any of our keepers.
Very good. Yeah.
From a Spurs keeper, definitely.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he has. But you know what? For me, I want to see it regularly now. Not just a one-off. People saying after the game, everyone who's slated Vicario, hang your heads in shame. You're in the mud, all that. I'm just like, hang on. One game. Let's see him do it throughout the season. And
I say. You know what we say, Nige, on our channels. If someone's been crap, right, in my opinion, I'll say it. And at the same time, if I think someone's been good, I'll say it. I've said to you on many occasions, and we've agreed, Vicario ain't been up to it this season on more than one occasion. But like Charlie said, flowers, mate. He was very, very good the other night. Very good.
He was absolutely. Ronnie saying, without the injuries now, this is a fit squad. Like this: Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Polinia, Kulu, Madders, Xavi, Mawani, Kudus. I mean, that's a pretty good team. But would you play Kulu as an 8 when he comes back? Do you think he's going to be played as an 8?
Not till he's fit, because it will take him God knows how long to get back to fitness. He takes a while to get going again, doesn't he? He's not on it straight away. So I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. When he's fit, he gets around the pitch, doesn't he? And he does get around the pitch. He works really hard. Whether he's suited to an 8 role, who knows? I know he could well be. It could be a much better option than what we've got at the moment. you know.
Yeah.
But who knows, mate? Who knows?
No, I agree. Charlie, what do you see Kulu as an 8, or do you think he's either a 10 or a right winger?
He's a 10 or right winger. I don't think you can play him in an 8. I know he didn't really play much there. Well, he kind of had to there last season because we had fucking no one. But I don't think him as an 8 would suit him at this rate. Also, we don't really, because we got Paulinho and Bentancur in there. I do want Kulu is not a fast individual. No. He's not the most mobile player. He doesn't move quickly. And if you put him in a midfield with Bentancur and Paulinho, who bless them as well, aren't the quickest. No, I don't think he'll go well. Let's put it that way. I think he's a good option on the wing. Would you guys play him left wing if he came back?
He's
probably better than what we already have there.
At least he could cut in on his right foot, couldn't he?
Yeah, he can't cut in his right. No,
I don't know.
That's the thing.
I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Don't know. He's not the type of He's not the type of a left winger to go past a defender, is he? He hasn't got that pace. So, but he's a lot more technical than what we've got out there at the moment. Well, Odibert can be technical, but he just cuts back all the time. But he did in the first half have a couple of runs, didn't he, Nige, that caused him a couple of problems, Monaco, to be fair. But we need more from him than that. We need more from a lot of them.
I definitely think it's one of Odebert's better games for Spurs. 100%. Let's hope it's the run of games that he's playing now that's getting him into tie, but of course maybe he's injured. We'll see. Scott M says slow passing, recycle, dumb shots, only 1 foot, so can't beat a man. That's Scott's thoughts on Kulusevski.
View on Kulu. View on Kulu.
Big up, Scott.
Big up, Scott.
He has got 1 foot. He has got 1 foot. Yeah, you could chop off. You could chop off his right foot, and he'd still play the same. It's true. Very true.
It is what it is.
Let's go for it. Let's go for a score prediction for Sunday before we wrap up. Guys, let us know. What do you think? Let us know in the chat as well.
I'm just gonna go out and I'm just gonna say we're gonna beat them 1-0. I don't know why. I just think we will. I'm confident. Good away form. I want to give a positive result. And I think the goal will be scored by God. Who's going to score a goal? This is tricky, isn't it? I reckon Paulinho will score it.
Super Paulinho.
Super João.
I am technical, Scott, by the way. I'll have you know. All right, back in the day. Maybe not now. I'm going. I don't know who's going to score. I don't know. I think it'll be 1-1. That's where I am with it. I just think it, depending how Porro gets on with Grealish, because I expect that Porro will play, and I've got no doubt that David Moyes will be telling Grealish to get at him as often as possible. So for me it's 1-1. I don't know where our goal's coming from. Maybe a set piece, something like that. But I think it could be a tough afternoon, to be honest. You know what Everton are like? They're physical, aren't they? They're physical. Moyes' teams are physical, and they have big lads, and they don't mind putting it about a bit. And it's just if our midfield's up to it again, we've got to start, instead of being boys against men, we've got to start turning into men against men. You've got Paulinho there to do it back there. And then there's not a lot there after that. So we've got to, start turning into men a bit more, I think, chaps.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a tough game. But you know what? I'm actually quite confident going to Everton's new stadium, more confident going there than I would be maybe going to Goodison. Because, Everton Stadium is nothing like Spurs in the fact that how good it is, but it's going to be, it's a nice open pitch. Teams are going to like playing now. Everton will be physical. I think someone said in chat, if we can keep it tight, Darren said, if we can keep it tight in the first half, I think we win the game.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let's see what happens, guys. I think we will leave it there. It's nearly 10 o'clock. And thanks for joining me, Cookie, as always, mate.
Anytime, mate. Love it. You know that. Anytime, mate. Anytime. Thanks for having me on. Big up to you, Charlie, and you, Nigel.
Yeah, good to see you, Cookie.
Big up to all the chat for being in. Big up to you all.
And guys, please go over and sub to the 2 Mark Show if you haven't already. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. Really would appreciate it. And Chunky, son, thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you. And thanks for the day game earlier. We stayed alive.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're still alive and kicking.
Yeah,
we are indeed. We are indeed. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. I have redirected you to the diehards. So when you go in now, say Pure Coins Raid. Much appreciated, guys. Have a great weekend. We will see you for the watch along on Sunday, Cookie, yeah?
Yep, you will. Sorry, I was reading the chat there, Nigel. I was miles away. Yeah, make sure, everyone, if you're not watching the watch along anywhere else, me and Nigel will be on Sunday, and hopefully the sheriff is about and he's not down the meat drawer at the pub. He'll pop on as well. And we'll have the watch along for the Everton game on Sunday. So please join us if you can, because we just try and make it a little bit different, you know. There you go.
We do indeed. Thanks all. And as always, smash a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And come on, you Spurs.
Lads down the lane with the Pure Coins